Hello, I'm Parkin, and I'm the Bristol City Poet, as you probably know by now if you've been watching these videos for the last 5 of them, and this is the 6th, so this is the last one. And in this video I wanted to talk about evolving your writing. Now, evolving seemed like the right term because it relates to animals and biology and evolution, and what I mean by that is developing and editing your writing. At this point, I hope you've got quite a few drafts to work with. Now, what I mean by a draft is you've scribbled something down, you've got down the first ideas, and that's the first go at your piece that you might enter into the competition or you might share somewhere else. But so much of writing is about this process of editing and developing, and it's a really creative process. So I just wanted to talk to you about that in this video. So the first thing I'd like you to do before I pop back up again in a minute is to go and find a couple of pieces of your writing, maybe 3 to work with, and then I'm going to give you some pointers today as to how you can make them even better. Okay, for the warm-up today, the first thing I'd like you to do, and it's really important when we're developing our writing, is to choose a piece that you like of your writing, and you're going to find 3 things in it that you really like, that's already going really well. A lot of editing of our poems or our stories is figuring out what's working well already and then making everything else catch up with it so it all works brilliantly and it's your best possible piece, okay? You could do this by looking at your own work. If you're working in a group, then you could swap with someone else. This is an amazing thing to do, so get them to have a look at your work and tell you what's going really well in it. We often can't spot it in our own writing, but if there's someone that you really trust to share your writing with, then they can tell you at least 3 things that are going really well in your piece. And that might be things like really great, interesting words that you've used, really imaginative ideas, or surprising pictures that you've made with your writing. And remember, it's your writing and your voice, and it's your strangeness and your brilliance and your uniqueness. All of those things that make you, you can come into your writing. So really do be yourself in your writing. Don't try and be some poemy version or some story version of yourself. Let all of your kind of unusualness shine through. And definitely when we're judging the poetry competition, I'll look for that. I really want to hear from you in your writing. Okay, so go away now and celebrate your own or celebrate each other's brilliance in your pieces. Now that you've spotted what's working really well in your own writing or in each other's writing, I'm going to invite you to choose a piece of writing that you would like to work on and evolve and develop. I'm going to do the same with a piece of mine. Earlier on in these videos I wrote a slow blessing, a blessing poem for the sloths, and I'm going to work on that with you so I can show you what I mean, and we're going to put some shots on screen of what I've changed. So there are 5 things I'm going to invite you to think about, okay? Well, the first thing to do is to read it out loud. If there are any points where you trip up on your writing or it doesn't quite work when you read it aloud, then you might want to change that. So as you go through and read it aloud, underline those bits, put a bubble around them, just to make a note to change them later. Pruning, okay, so which is what you do to plants, so you do it to poems and writing as well. Does every word do something, or does it feel a bit like packaging in the box? So have you said the same thing twice, but you said it more interestingly one of the times, in which case you could probably just stick with that. Sometimes when I'm writing, I practice saying things in different ways, and actually I can just stick with one of them, okay? So that's it, pruning. Is it specific and surprising rather than vague and expected? Okay, so what I mean by that, specific, is it a particular thing? And is it a new use of the words? Yeah, so play around with different combinations of words to see what feels surprising. If it's what we call a cliche is a phrase you hear a lot of the time, then you might want to rethink it, because especially for a competition, when you're writing, you want the words to really stand out so that I'm like, oh, that's really surprising for me and really exciting, okay? So anything that you know is a cliche, a well-worn phrase, maybe rethink it. See if there's another way you can say it. Sparkly verbs. Verbs, of course, are doing words, yeah? So could they be doing even more? Are there more interesting verbs? Is an animal just walking, or is it scurrying or scratching, or what's it doing? Really think about those carefully, because they can really bring a piece of writing to life. The last thing, endings. What's your ending doing? And could you make it even more thought-provoking and interesting? Sometimes, whatever level of poetry writing we're doing, we over-explain a poem at the end, and you can actually leave a reader to really think about the ending of a poem and just let it sit there. And that's often more exciting, actually, for a reader than being kind of told too much in the poem. You can just let it kind of be like a riddle, or yeah, it's a lot more interesting, I think. So I'm going to share a piece of mine, and then I'm just going to run through some of those and see what I might change, and then maybe make some changes that we'll put on the screen. This is a slow blessing for the sloths. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to point out a few things I liked first of all. May your fur be verdant with algae, and may your spine be long like your life. May we embrace change slowly, like the perfectly angled branch. When you climb down the tree for your twice weekly wee, may the ground be soft and welcoming. In the tropical forests we hope for, may your kind be as ripe as fruit. Right, so what I've done is a few things I put in green highlighter that I really liked. So may your fur be verdant with algae. I was like, oh, that's lovely. That's a nice phrase, okay? Verdant means green and leafy, and of course algae is like a bit like a tiny plant, and that grows in the sloth's fur. So I thought that was a lovely first line, okay, because it's kind of really slothy. And may your spine be long like your life. Well, at that point I was like, is it just long, or is there a better word than long? I'm not sure. I'm going to think about that. May we embrace change slowly. Well, I thought that was really nice, because I thought, you know, sloths are very slow, and I thought at this moment when the zoo is transitioning and changing, then yeah, it says more than just that. Like the perfectly angled branch. I might tweak that as well. I might make that more specific, actually. Perfectly angled. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm going to think about that. When you climb down the tree for your twice weekly wee, I actually thought, is it just climbing? Or is it ambling? Or could I do more with climb? Which doesn't feel like it's as interesting a verb as it could be. So I might change climb, actually. May the ground be soft and welcoming. In the tropical forests we hope for. So I might change soft as well, actually. I feel like there's a better word than soft. In the tropical forests we hope for, may your kind be as ripe as fruit. Now, I noticed that I tripped up a bit on kind, because kind means two things. May your kind, your type, but it also means kind. So I'm going to have a think about that one as well. And what I'll do is I'll just make those changes and then come back and we'll put it on screen so that you can see what I've decided to try out in my next version, okay? So I'll see you in a minute once I've done my editing. A slow blessing for the sloths. May your fur be verdant with algae, and may your spine stretch like your life. May we embrace change slowly, on a leafy branch, on bluest sky. When you saunter down the tree for your twice weekly wee, may the ground be comfy, welcoming. In the tropical forests of easy dreams, may all sloths relax and ripen like fruit. So a few things I've changed in this version. In the second line I had, and may your spine be long like your life, and I've changed it to, and may your spine stretch like your life, because I like stretch there, because sloth spines do kind of stretch when they're hanging around, and I thought it did more than be long like your life. I've also changed like the perfectly angled branch, because actually what is a perfectly angled branch? So I thought, okay, on a leafy branch on bluest sky was a nice image of green and blue and things that sloths might quite enjoy. So I've changed that, so it's got colours and specifics in there now, it's particular. When you saunter down the tree, it was when you climb down the tree, but actually I think sloths do saunter. Yeah, saunter is a nice verb for the sloths, so that felt like a good change. And I also changed the may the ground be soft to may the ground be comfy, welcoming, because I thought comfiness is something that feels like to me sloths might be interested in. Comfort. And I wanted that. This is a kind of blessing poem too, so I wanted that for the sloths. And also I changed the ending, so in the tropical forests of easy dreams. I thought that was a nice phrase, easy dreams, and that those dreams could be for people, or they could be the sloth's dreams. I think they probably do dream, actually. There's another poem there, I think. And may all sloths relax and ripen like fruit, I thought was quite a nice image to finish on. And before I had may your kind be as ripe as fruit. So I've done something a bit different with that image of the ripened fruit. So this is just version 2, but I might end up with versions 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It depends on the poem. Sometimes they take loads of versions and sometimes less versions. My invitation to you now is to do this process with at least 3 of your pieces. So all the stuff that we've done in this video. So swap it, find what's working, and then run through that list that I went through of things to look out for. And spend some real time with those poems and see how unique and interesting you can make them. And then once you've done that, send them to us and we'll really look forward to reading them. So have fun with editing. I think it's fun, but I'm a poet, so I would say that. And I'm really excited to read your work.